We live in a very strange world. Numerous facts are too astonishing to believe. However, life holds many surprises, both old and new. Let's dive into the 10 most outrageous truths that you have likely never heard of. First one, nearly 2 people die each second. Let's immediately get into the hard truth that nobody wants to hear. Nearly 2 people die each second. Yep, some researchers estimate that it's 1.8 humans who die. Others say 1.7. Either way, it's still a tragedy that doesn't seem to be going down anytime soon. In total, 105 people die per minute. 6,316 people die an hour. 151,600 people die per day. And nearly 56 million people die per year. I'll give you a minute to hug and kiss your mother and father goodbye. In seriousness, the leading cause of death happens to be heart disease, with 635,260 people dying per year, making up 23.1% of total deaths. The second, it's cancer, at 598,038, which estimates up to 21.7% of total deaths. Freaked out yet? Well, don't be. As terrible as this sounds, no one is marked like the poor victims in Final Destination. So continue to enjoy life as you do now. The second one is 4 babies are born every second. Ready for something happy? 4 babies. The total estimate comes to 4.5 babies being born per second. That equals to 273 babies born per minute, 393,000 babies born daily, 2,766,000 each week, and 12 million popping out each month. Crazy, right? For every life sadly taken away, double the lives are thrust into this beautiful world each second. That means around 150 million humans are born into this world each month. According to an estimate, about 4 million of those births come from the United States of America. So go out into the world and have happy, free sex with the intention of bringing a bundle of joy into this crazy life. Life is beautiful, and the joys of being born into our society vastly outweigh the negatives. Third one, the oceans contain almost 200,000 different viruses. Do you love going to the beach, swimming in the fresh water and drinking it for your pleasure? Well, cover your ears because you're not going to like this one if you're an ocean lover, as 200,000 different viruses are contained inside the deep shallow waters. 230,000 species occupy the ocean, and 70% of the water covers our entire planet. So it's not too surprising that there is so much bacteria surfacing down below. So what helps contaminate our lovely oceans? Animal waste, sewage spills, stormwater runoff, fecal matter, and germs from your butt. You heard me correctly, germs from your butt. Scientists, unfortunately, don't know too much about 90% of the viruses swarming in the blue water, though it's safe to say that you won't die from swallowing some ocean water as it doesn't cause any sort of human disease. However, it's probably better if you didn't. Next up is Facebook has more users than the population of the US, China, and Brazil combined. 330,874,115 people live in the United States of America. 1.4 billion citizens occupy China. 211.5 million people are breathing in Brazil. And guess what? Facebook has more users than each of these countries. 280 billion users spend their time commenting, liking, and cursing out fellow members of the social media platform. Facebook has been around for nearly 2 decades. And if you've seen the social network, then it wasn't an easy venture to get to this point. Still, Mark Zuckerberg arguably created the most interactive platform imaginable, and the social media site continues to evolve as the years pass by. The overall platform is worth more than $500 billion, and Mr. Zuckerberg is valued at more than $70 billion, according to Forbes. Sorry ladies, Priscilla Chan has already taken this high-value man's heart. Nevertheless, Facebook remains a highly popular site in this day and age, so don't expect this to be the next MySpace anytime soon. Next one, there are more than 24 time zones around the world. Ready for your brain to hurt? Great, because we have 24 time zones around the world. I get confused by the two time zones between the East and West. The first 4 time zones in the United States were created on November 18, 1883. Our world happens to be divided longitudinally into time zones, with each hour difference roughly being 15 degrees apart. Iran, Afghanistan, India, and Burma each have a half-hour tacked onto their overall time zone. China has 1 time zone, France has 12 time zones, making it the country with the most time zones. Russia and the United States tied for second at 11 time zones each. There are 23 countries with at least 2 time zones. Go ahead, I'll wait until your brain stops exploding. Next one up, the CIA tried to turn cats into spies. The CIA tried turning everyday cats into spies. That's right, the furry creature that's licking himself in your living room was almost a member of the Central Intelligence Agency. When you think about it, an animal involved with a top-level agency isn't too crazy. After all, there are guard and military dogs. However, cats and dogs are different breeds. In the 1960s, the CIA had implanted a microphone and a small radio transmitter inside of a cat, with the top-secret mission being labeled Operation Acoustic Kitty. The hope was for these animals to eavesdrop on private conversations. During a field test, Acoustic Kitty was tasked with capturing a conversation between 2 men sitting on a bench at a park. Unfortunately, Acoustic Kitty wandered into the street and was hit by a taxi. The project was abandoned immediately as the organization realized that cats weren't as trainable as dogs. Next one up. There are over 200 corpses on Mount Everest and they are used as landmarks. Roughly 200 corpses are on Mount Everest. How? Well, there are plenty of ways to die on the highest mountain above sea level. It could be from falling to the lack of oxygen. However, the dangers of climbing Mount Everest barely deter many climbers who want to reach the top of the huge mountain. Several of the dead climbers serve as a waypoint for many climbers, such as the body of Green Boots, who was an Indian climber who died in 1996. His body is near a cave that all climbers must use to gauge how near they are to the summit. Another famous body is Francis Argentiev, who is noted as the first American woman to reach Everest's summit without bottled oxygen in 1998. However, Francis never made it down the summit, as you may have guessed. The lack of oxygen was her Achilles heel at the end of the day. Next one up, female kangaroos have 3 uteruses. Here's a weird fact that only animal lovers may know. A female kangaroo has 3 uteruses. Koalas, wombats, and Tasmanian devils also have 3 vaginas. You heard me correctly, 3. The bladder, the middle uterus, and the side uterus. The side one carries sperm to the 2 uteruses, while the middle vagina is the one that gives birth to the lucky newborn coming into the world. Can you imagine the chaos the world would bear if a human female had 3? Hey, get your dirty mind out of the gutter. In terms of a female kangaroo, these creatures can indeed be pregnant with 3 youngsters at the same time. Second to the last, for 20 years, a cat served as a mayor of an Alaskan town. This fact is actually on the weird side. A cat served as the mayor for Talkeetna, Alaska for 20 freaking years. A cat. Actually, Mayor Stubbs. No, this isn't a special creature with any political prowess before being elected mayor. In 1997, this small community concluded that there was no candidate deemed worthy of the mayor role. Oddly, Laurie Steck, a manager at Nagley's General, picked a kitty without a tail from a box of unwanted cats, and the youngster became the mayor of Talkeetna. I swear you can't make this stuff up. Anyways, this adorable cat stayed in a position of power until he died at the age of 20 in 2016. Surprisingly, another cat didn't step in to replace Mayor Stubbs. And last but not the least, the Polish army enlisted a bear as a soldier during World War II. We had cats almost join the CIA, so naturally it was only a matter of time that a bear was going to be enlisted in the army, right? Well, Polish soldiers found a bear on the side of the road and took the bear in. Just like that. The bear didn't have to do any special physical or fill out any forms to be enlisted into the army. The soldiers named him Wojtek, and he was trained for combat by a civilian refugee. Eventually, Wojtek was given his paybook, a serial number, and a rank, then transported to war on a British ship. The bear slept in bunks, drank beer, and smoked cigarettes, and didn't maul anyone to death. Wojtek survived the war and was placed in the Edinburgh Zoo, where he lived out the rest of his days until he died of the age 21.